orientation. There's my whiteboard. Got all my lists of everything, notes and such. Now I gotta fix this because they want the thing to be rotated. How is everybody? Anybody? Just a second here. I've got this thing too tight. There we go, that's better. There we go. Every time I do this, they change something. Hi, Trish. Hi, Val. Hi, Zelina. How are you? They didn't let me go into any advanced settings, so I couldn't turn it the way I wanted to. How's everybody doing this evening? I gotta keep a watch on my power, but this cord is gonna be right in the way. There we go. Well, now it wants me to do it the other way. This thing can't make up its mind.
Sorry.
Sorry for what?
It tripped a breaker.
Oh, it didn't affect anything up here.
Good.
My wife tripped a breaker. She was saying sorry. Okay, let's see. So there we go. And my wife is having some troubles downstairs, apparently. We have a situation in our house. For some weird reason, the living room is on one end of the house, the kitchen is on the other end of the house. The dining room and the stairs is between the two rooms. But if we have the little electric fireplace going in the living room and we turn on the microwave or the little toaster oven or the air fryer, it fries the breaker. We don't know why. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Trish says she's doing great. That's awesome. I got sent home yesterday because they didn't have any work for me to do, but he said he was going to pay me, so I had a paid day off yesterday. So I was able to get all of my chores done yesterday so that I could make jewelry today. And I did. Made some rings. Did some sorting up here and answered some questions that some people had. And today I'm going to make a necklace, I hope. I'm hoping it's going to turn out all right. I'm going to be using 20 gauge wire, silver. I don't know how much I'm going to use because I'm going to make the necklace itself out of these opalite beads. And when I get down to a single bead, it takes 3 inches of wire to do a single bead. I did find that out earlier. But I'm not just going to do single beads for the whole thing. So we're going to have to check how much it's going to be for the other wires. I am not going to use jump rings for jump rings. I'm going to be using this silver chain instead. I'm going to be using the links from them. Probably should have taken some of them apart, huh? So now you'll have to watch me tear the chain apart to use as jump rings, but I don't know how many I'll need, so... And I'm going to be making the main piece. It's going to be this opalite arrowhead. And we're going to be using our wire cutters, our round nose pliers, and our flat nose pliers. And I think that's all we're going to need. So the first thing we're going to be doing is making our arrowhead necklace itself. Since we're going to be making this a pretty necklace, we're going to be making it a little fancier than I would normally make my necklaces, but here we go. I'm going to get me about 2 feet. Should do it, of silver 20 gauge wire. And since I am making this a fancier necklace, I'm going to go ahead and do a bail different than I normally use on my arrowheads. Oh, and my bail making pliers. You can use round nose pliers or anything round. And I am not going to be needing it to be there. So we find the center of our wire and we just try not to kill ourselves. I'm making this smaller than I normally do because we won't be using it. We're going to be putting the bail, since we're making the necklace, I'm going to put some twists in here. Since we're making the necklace out of the beads, we're not going to be needing to run anything through this. So it can be smaller. And let's see, let's go a little bit more. So on Thursday night around here, we had thunderstorms and hail and even a tornado in our county. That's not something you would normally expect. So I just ran this down. I'm basically making this like I would, making my bail like I would any other stone. We're just going to run it down and bring it across the point. If I can get my fingers orientated correctly. My wires are not cooperating. Get back on there. The problem with this type of bail with these arrowheads is the back of the arrowhead is not straight, or is not flat. So, of course, getting this first little move going here is going to be a pain. What am I doing here? Sometimes the struggles are real. If you think that you can do it without struggling, you are probably wrong. So I'm going to just go like this. I'm wanting a loop here. Very small loop. So I'm just going to do it off of the stone and then orientate it to where I want it. Orientate, is that the right way to say that? Orient. Yeah, orientate. Hello, Christy. How are you? Welcome to the show. I'm all fumble fingers at the moment. Don't know why. May have something to do with being nervous. I'm always nervous when I got a bunch of people watching me. In this case, it's a whole whopping 7, but that's still 7 more than I like watching me. So my loop is nowhere near where I wanted it, but that's okay. Why are we fighting so hard here? Sorry, I tried to see what it looked like off the camera. So we're just going to bring you around here like so. All right, so got a loop there. I want another loop. Let's see. I want it to go down. Now I feel like I'm talking to myself instead of other people. Sorry if I'm talking too low. Hi, Angela. How are you? You have stage fright, Zelina. I thought you were like a public performer. Didn't you like used to juggle and stuff? I'm doing pretty well, Angela. How are you? Let's see. Let's point you down too. I didn't point down, it pointed up, but that's all right. Gotta roll with the flow sometimes. Get this bad boy scarfed without mangling it up too bad. In this case, I'm going to put both of these in the same spot. Yikes. Tuck it down in there. You want to tuck, there we go. Fold that one back down where it belongs. I'll tuck him in into this little bowl too. So that fast we wrapped this one, but there's some irregularities. So we need to straighten that out, or actually bend it out is what we're going to do. I'm just going to take and shove that way. That's better. Now we'll grip it, twist it a little more. Sometimes you can hear them crunch. I think it's number 2. But the very first tutorial video I did, Zelina, was Bale's a little crooked, was about tools. So I don't know how you want to count that. All right, so I did what I don't like to do. I pulled it a little too tight, so now it's not quite centered. So now I got to try and figure out a way to fix that without mangling completely my design in the front. So I didn't give myself any leeway either. Look at that. Cut myself. But yes, the very first tutorial I made about jewelry itself was my bail. Gotta stop the bleeding so I don't bleed all over the piece of jewelry. These arrowheads are not fun to play with. They got sharp corners. And I don't think I'm going to be able to fix this bail. Might be able to do this. Untwist you one twist. All right, look at that. So what I did is when I brought this wire around, look at that. Blood all over it. I will disinfect it before I sell it. Wipe it down with some alcohol. There. So what I did was I took and untwisted this whole thing, because when I came around and then I wrapped the first ring around the bail to start my scarfing, I pulled it too tight. So what I did was untwisted it one twist, and that gave me a little more room. It's not very pretty. Push it down. There we go. It's on the back. It's not pokey. Who cares? So there we go. There is our main necklace piece. Thank you. I got my bail situated. But yeah, I was kind of, reason Zelina asked me about the video. Thank you. And I went on my YouTube on my computer so that I could read your guys' chat. Yes, Angela, that is correct. But when I went on YouTube and went to my channel, I'm like, why do they not have my videos listed in the order that I made them? Because when I look at it on my YouTube on my phone and I hit the button that says your videos, it lines them up in the order that I made them. But then I realized that YouTube puts them in the order of views. The first video that pops up if you punch in my name into YouTube is the one with the most views. And I hadn't looked all the way down to the first one that I ever made in a long time, and I was completely shocked to discover I had 18,000 views. That's pretty good for a fledgling wire wrapper, I think. All right, so here's going to be our necklace. So now we got to make our chain to go with the necklace. And for that, we need beads. And I got beads. And what I want to do is I want to do a pattern that does 3 beads stacked, and then a 2 bead stack, and maybe 2 bead stacks, and then a 1 bead stack, and then finish it off with That's kind of the idea that's floating in my head. I don't know, maybe I should do 3, just go 3, 2, 1, and then finish it off with all ones. Here's a nice big question, everybody. Hello, Susanna. How are you? Welcome to my live. Here's a question for my more experienced with this, especially with this type of jewelry. This is the first one I've ever made other than my own statement necklace. I've never made a necklace with the beads. I've never made the necklace chain with beads before, and with my statement necklace, I made it to fit me. So, what would be a good length to make our little necklace here? Because I don't know. I know I want to do the 3 and the 2 and then start on the ones, but how many ones? Where do I stop? I don't know if 20 inches is better or 24 or what. So I am going to want to do, about 8 inches, I think. We're going to do 8 inches. Well, my guess for this would probably be a female. But, I try not to gender assign my jewelry. But I would guess that there's a bigger chance that a female would buy this than a male would. Well, I mean, a female would wear this than a male would. But that's just a guess. The 18 ones don't fit Zelina. Trish says 18 for female. 20 and up for male. Well, how about, you see, the necklace cords that I sell are 20 inches with 2-inch extender. They're 20 inches altogether, counting the 2-inch. So maybe I'll do that here. See, that's the tricky part. You can't put a whole lot of extender on these because then your necklace won't be laying correctly. Hi, Patricia. How are you? All right. So go like that. I want a little bit of looseness here for what I've got in mind, and go like that. I don't know if this is enough for this little design I'm thinking about either, but we'll find out. Round nose. I'm just going at the very tippy tip. So it doesn't have, well, actually, I want to go a little farther than that because I want to match these. So yeah, I went about that far. In case nobody's noticed, I am not a precision. I don't do a lot of measuring. I just sort of go by how it looks. But yeah, I think I'll make this. Hello, Mango. How are you? Thanks for coming. But yeah, as far as length, I think we'll do 20 inches or 18 inches in beads or somewhere in that vicinity. And then throw a couple of inches of chain on it so that they can go a little more. Okay, that needs to be this direction. So I want my loops to be going in the same direction. I want them to be not quite that mangled. Just flatten them out. There we go. And what I want to do then is I'm going to decorate my beads a little bit and sort of swoop around them. I don't know if this is going to work. I know I can do it this direction, but how's it going to look? Oh, I guess I can just double strand it right there. It follows right along. Good. I did it right. Yeah, I had a lady that was buying for her granddaughter. And yeah, that was her comment, was that there was no way that little 20-inch chain was going to fit around her neck. And I'm like, well, I was not intending to sell anything at this particular place. I was at my aunt's house. Yeah. One decoration went pretty good. The other two did not. And I'm just going to go ahead and scarf this. Oops, wrong pliers. If I can. Sometimes you got to help the last little bit around if you still need it. And I need it. And it may not be enough anyway. Yeah, no sharp edge. I didn't get to tuck it in. I don't like that at all. So apparently I need about 9 inches of wire to pull this off correctly. All right. Not the first time I've had to cut wire. Probably won't be the last. But I'll tell you what, you guys don't need to see me destroy it, and I have plenty of beads, so we can just start over. Well, Angela, that's what I was talking about. I was going to do 18 and add 2 inches, but that is only going to make it 20. Because if you add any more than that, because this is not going to, this pendant is not going to slide at all. I'm going to put these 3 beads on this side with my little piece of chain link that I'm going to use for my yeah, those things. Instead of using jump rings, I'm going to use the links on this chain. So they're going to be this way and this way. And I'm going to kind of jump ring them together. So this is not going to slide anywhere. So if you start adding too much of an extension on the back, then your lobster claw is going to be visible from the front. And most people don't want that. I've lost the end of my wire. There it is. So this time I'm going to do 9 inches. I'll bet you that'll give me enough to do what I want to do. I mean, I guess I could just stack them and go, but I thought I'd I thought I'd go ahead and decorate the first couple. Well, Patricia, I live in a small town too, and so far, 45 minutes away is the farthest I've gone to sell anything. But I just find craft shows, local craft shows. Last year was the first year I went outside of the county I live in. And I'm about to go to that show again. My bead ran away. I'm about to go to that show again on the 24th. But I'm kind of lucky at where I'm at because I had no idea when I started this whole system. I had no idea there were so many craft shows. I had never been to a craft show in my life. So I had no idea that there were nine craft shows in my county, and I don't have a huge county. I said I am at the western edge of my county, and I can be at the eastern edge of my county in about 25 minutes. But there were seven or eight, 7, 8, 9, I don't know. I think there was up to 9 in my county. I didn't do all of them. I only did 7 of them last year. So last year is the first year I went out of my own county. So you may have craft shows right there that you can go to. I don't know if you were incapable of traveling very far. Otherwise, online, word of mouth from friends is about the only other choices you have. But I am doing, let's see, I've signed up for 3 shows outside of my county this year. And cutting down on the ones inside my county. Ones that weren't. I'm hoping that, well, one of the problems is that 3 of them were basically in, 4 of them were basically in the same town. So it kind of gets oversaturated. That's what I was doing wrong. There we go. So you kind of oversaturate your market if you got that many going on in this exact same town. But I had 2 in my town, but they were in the spring and then on Labor Day. Oops. So they were spread out pretty good, and both of them, we have the Labor Day is a big deal in our town. We got the fair comes in, we bring a carnival in, and all that. It's the biggest deal in our town. Basically, is our Labor Day celebration. So that brings in people from 2 and 3 counties away. And the other one is called a garden walk. And that brings in people from 2 or 3 counties away because we had like 7 people in our town that have beautiful flower gardens. And you pay like $10 or so, and you get a map of where all these gardens are located. And then you bring your friends and family or whatever you're doing with, and you come right on down. And let's see, how did I do that last time where they lined up? Wrap you around a little more. I did it different, and now it's going to be different. But they have a craft. She had set up a craft show. I'm just going to cross them. Let's do that. That doesn't look bad. Bring that one back down a little bit. Here we go. So she had a little craft show for the garden walk. Last year we were unable to do the garden walk because we had, I think there was 2 of the biggest gardens. One had somebody pass away in their family, and one's husband had a heart attack, so they were unable to do it, so they did not have one last year. I think they're talking about having one again this year, but that's in like May, beginning of May, maybe the end of April. I don't remember. There, that one worked right. Let's mangle it a little bit. There, it looks all right. But and then the other one, of course, is like I said, on the Labor Day. So both of them bring in out-of-towners. And the first Labor Day one that I did was an absolute bust. But a new person took over last year and moved it outside instead of inside, which of course expanded the amount of people that were able to vend, to set up a booth, and it let everybody that was outside know that there was one. And it was far more profitable, like $200 more profitable. So you have just one place, and every weekend they've got a market going on, Trish? That could be handy. If I had a place like that, it'd be nice, because I like to do one a month. Is kind of how I try and set mine up. And I try not to do them back to back. Unfortunately, two of my... Hey, Cindy, how are you? That is 20 gauge, and it is not sterling silver. It is just copper core silver. I don't make enough money to pay for sterling. Oh, they do it just once a month. They just do it from April to October. That's cool. We have a place here. It is a ways away. Well, 2 or 3, that's not bad, especially if you're just starting. Because I will tell you, they can be exhausting. I won't even say they can be. They are exhausting. By the time you set everything up and you spend your day dealing with people and selling, and then you tear everything down and you go home, I usually load my car the night before so I don't have to deal with it in the morning. And most of the time when I get home, my stuff stays in my car until the next morning because I'm too tired to unload it. But I have no help, so everything I do by myself. Which, if you've got help, it would be a lot easier. But I'm also mentally tired because as a truck driver, I don't associate with people a whole lot. I don't have a whole lot of interaction, personal interaction in my days. And then I go to these things and things can get crazy, and people are coming in and out, and strangers, and I have to talk to them. And so part of my own exhaustion is having people at all. My son does not understand how I can come home and sit all weekend in my house, go to the grocery store, and come back home, and you don't ever go anywhere. I'm like, I am going somewhere every day. Hi, D-Day. Welcome to my lovely show. For those of you who have just arrived, I am working on a necklace. Here is going to be my focal piece, and then I am going to make a bead necklace to go with it, all out of opalite and silver wire. I've never done this type of thing before, so it's a learning process. All right. Hi, Val. You back again, or are you just saying hi to everyone again? I don't know if you were gone or if you just walked away. But anyway, for those of you just showing up, I learned that I need 8 or 9 inches of wire instead of 7 because I had to cut my wire on camera on a live show. See, and it's weird because I like being around people for short periods of time, as long as it's not a big crowd. Like, like a concert. I do not like going to concerts. Thank you, D-Day. You get me around more than, say, 100, 150 people, and I'm not comfortable. Running away. And it doesn't bother me one bit to have 10 or 15 people, at my house if we're, having a cookout or something, which I haven't done in years, but it also doesn't bother me to be alone. Especially if I have jewelry I need to make. Because I cannot, mangled that. Straighten that back up again. I do not do well with distractions, as you people have seen. Just having the camera on and talking to everybody is distracting me. Yep, that's what I was saying. They are exhausting. But that's why, with my job and my grandkids, I try and do one a month, as I was saying before. And that is more than enough. And I try not to do 2 weekends in a row. And as I was saying, that's going to change now because the Labor Day, my 2 best shows, my absolute very best show, shocker of shocks, was the last weekend of August. And the reason I say shock of shocks is because there were 5 vendors there. I was like, this is going to be horrible. There were 5 vendors there. That's it. I don't know if that was a good thing for me or a bad thing for me, but I sold $500 worth of jewelry in 4.5 hours, 4.5 hours. I was selling stuff before I was all the way set up. So I will be going back to them again. That is for sure. I will not miss that one. And they were very unorganized. Like, we never met the organizers of the thing that I sent my money to. They weren't there. They were at another one. Well, yeah. Well, that's like today. She had the whole day off. My wife. She didn't even realize it. She went to work and her boss was like, "Why are you here?" She's like, "What? Did you fire me when I wasn't looking?" But apparently some schedules had changed around and now she was off entirely today, which never happens. Her normal days off are Saturday. But she gets today off, but she has to work a 12-hour shift tomorrow. So that was one of the reasons why I took my break and wanted to be fresh when I was making my rings earlier, was because I wanted to spend some time with her. Since I'm not going to see her tomorrow, I can make jewelry tomorrow if I feel like it. But I can't see her. Well, I could see her. I could go up there and sit at her work with her, but that's boring. Well, Trish, the thing is, according to the people I talked to, it wasn't that vendors didn't show up. That was all that had signed up for the day. See, now how did I do that? This time it's coming up right. Would it be too weird to have 2 different designs? It would be weird. Probably too weird. Hey, Eve, how are you? Haven't seen you in a while. So I do not. You know what? I'm just going to be weird. We're going to have two different designs. If they don't like it, they don't have to buy it. I don't know how I did it, but I did this one the way I wanted the other one to be done. But like I said, I'm not going to cry over it. I'll just make it different. Well, what I'm looking at is I need to wrap this around so it can lay flat. I don't know. What do we think? Two different? Wow. It's kind of hard to see there. Boo, 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 boo. There we go. Wow. In Zoom, I'm really messing up. Look around the camera. So that would that be two different? I think so. So we'll try and make another one. We'll make a third one, and then whichever design wins out, we'll get the go ahead. Move the smushy back down. How about that? Oh, you think it looks nice the way it is? Okay, good. And I'll just do that. See, it's bad enough. You're wonky. It's bad enough trying to look through the camera, but then you have to look. You are all wonky. There we go. And see, what was supposed to be a scarf turned into a pile. There we go. But then with my eyeballs, I got to take my glasses off to pull the stuff up close so I can see what I'm doing with these little bitty ends. You guys can't see what I'm doing though. My focus was way off. I have to trim that off a little, I think. But yeah, life can be fun. I do enjoy the craft shows. Like I said, they are exhausting, but I like them. I like the interactions with the people. Yeah, when I asked somebody why there was only 5 vendors showed up, this was not going to be very good. Look at that, I scarred the thing. Scarred my wire a little bit, can't see a thing. Boy, that focus just is not going good at all. There we go. Scarred the wire a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be noticeable if I can keep from doing it anymore. See, I mangled that one all. Get down in there. Yeah. But yeah, the way they sounded, 5 or 6 vendors is all they ever have. So I'm like, well, this is going to be a long, slow day. And then people started walking in and wanting to buy stuff before I even had everything set up. And I'm like, well, at least the morning's going good. And next thing I knew, I was looking around going, I need to put some more stuff out. I usually don't have to restock. I probably average Oh, Angela, as far as alternating them, this is the only 3 bead that I'm going to do. My next one's going to be 2, and then I'm going to start on 1s. Gave me a thumbs up where? Trying to do 4 things at once here. But my average, if you didn't count that show last year, was, let's see, not counting that show, my biggest show was $250 in sales. I'm not sure what the amount of sales was for the others, but I generally average $125 in profit. Oh, okay. Thanks, Selena. Yeah, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Like me, please. Oh, that made somebody mad. I went from 11 to 10. Yeah, normally my average is about 125 in profit. That's after paying for the booth and everything. And most of my booth prices are between 25 and 45. Actually, I think one this year is 50. But I've never paid more than $50. That's another reason I've got a lady that I've done a show with, and she wanted me to do another one, but it's in a hotel. It's a metaphysical, she's persuasion thing, and she's doing all kinds of metaphysical stuff, which is what my show is 2 weeks from now, the 24th. So the people that are coming are of the mindset that would want crystals and such, but she's got it in a hotel that's in a weird spot and out of the way. It's not on a main thoroughfare anywhere. You have to actually be wanting to go to this to get to it. And then she was saying they weren't going to be able to afford, excuse me, they weren't going to be able to afford any advertising, and she wanted $100 for a booth. And I'm like, no thanks. I'm not paying $100 for one that's advertised on TV. Because I don't have that much of a gambler in me. So I would have to sell either 2 of my very expensive items or 5 or 6 of my not so expensive items to even come close to covering the booth fee. And I have been to shows where that's all I've sold. So yeah, I tend to start not wanting to go do them at about the $50. Anything over $50 starts bothering me. Yeah, she's crazy. That's what I said. If you aren't going to advertise, what am I paying $100 for? 2 tables in a lobby of a hotel, motel, whatever it is. I said I saw I saw the pictures from last year. She had it set up nicely and everything. It's in a nice, the venue is nice, but yeah, I don't see that there was going to be a whole lot of traffic. The one I'm doing this February was my biggest show last year until I went to that little one, and they were buying like crazy. But it's also their big event for that town, and they have people coming from states away because it's called Old Settlers Day. They make it like a homecoming day. They have all kinds of goofy little things going on that have to do with the history of the town. And it's, people that have moved away come back that one time of the year to visit with friends and see people. Yeah, I did a quote unquote fundraiser thing for a dance studio, and a couple of people. There was probably 15 vendors there, and a couple of people did pretty well, but most of us did not because, yeah, the dancers and the parents were the only ones that showed up. And if they had money, well, they'd just give it to the dance studio and they wouldn't have to do a fundraiser, right? So, yeah. The two that did good sold, one lady sold cheesecake, different flavored cheesecakes type things, and the other guy was also a food guy with seasonings and stuff like that. I don't remember the name of that company. I've seen them 2 or 3 times. But they have, big bottles of spices and stuff. I'm off camera. Sorry about that, guys. I was kind of leaning over to see past it. And the jewelry just sort of went with me. All right. That doesn't look right at all. I think I need to cut it off a little more. If I can. I can't even get in there now. Probably shouldn't do totally new ideas that I've never done before on a live show. I haven't quite figured everything out yet. All right, I needed to let my eyes take a break for just a minute. How's everybody doing now? So that's starting to look a little interesting. We're going to go that way, and then that way. That's kind of how I'm looking at my design. You know what? I'm going to stand up and stretch and find what can I do with it. Because I'm just realizing, somebody should have said something, that it is very hard to see what I'm trying to show you here. So let's try it a little different. Ooh, it got dark. Now I got to move all my stuff. Runaway bead. Forgive the dog hair. I just pulled this out of storage because I realized that, oh, that's much better, isn't it? Here, backwards. Makes them look blue. Thank you, Angela. Need to make a few more, but I got tired. I get tired of doing the same thing over and over again. That's one other reason why I really love doing pendants, because each one you grab is a little different. Haha. That's easier to see now, ain't it? So yeah, here's kind of what we're looking at doing. Opalite is pretty. And since I don't see any saboteurs here, Matt's not here. Tiff already knows. I got 10 of these opalite arrowheads and 10 the shiny black glass. Obsidian. I got 10 obsidian and 10 opalite in one package for $22. So it made it like $1.20 each. And the very first opalite that I wrapped fancy like this, my son sold for $25. Got all my money back and had 19 arrowheads left. So I'm making a killing on these things because I've only have 4 of each left. What am I going to do with what? This necklace? I'm going to sell it if somebody will buy it. Almost everything I make gets sold or, well, goes up for sale. A few things I make are specific gifts for people. And then, of course, there was the whole Christmas thing. That was a specific purpose too. But yeah, 98% of the stuff I make goes on to my table. The whole selling part was not sort of structured into the whole making the jewelry thing until my wife asked me what I was going to do with all this jewelry I was making. Hi, Klein, how are you? Ooh la la. I'd ask you to translate something, but I'm afraid of what it actually means. It could be a Valentine's present if somebody wants to buy it. Dawn doesn't wear jewelry. She's got a ring that her grandfather gave her, I think, and wedding rings, and that's about all she'll wear. She wore, I don't know why I wrote to cut that so big. She wore diamond earrings I gave her for our very first Christmas that we were married. I saved up for 6 months for those. And her reaction was, ooh, sparkly. I'm like, they better be, they're real. And her jaw dropped. So she wore those for a while. But I haven't seen them. She just doesn't wear, she's not interested in wearing any jewelry at this point. So I quit making her stuff. She hasn't worn the 2 pendants that I made for her, an amethyst and an emerald. And emerald is her favorite, absolute favorite gemstone. So favorite that I actually used it. I bought an emerald for her engagement ring. But she's never put the emerald necklace on that I got one of those emeralds from Matt. And she's never put it on. But I don't take any offense to it. She just doesn't wear jewelry at all. And if she ain't going to wear it, I ain't going to make it. And that's the only Valentine I got. Is my loving wife. Well, like I said, Clyde, she doesn't wear jewelry at all. So, all right. Do not want those facing the same way. Here we go. But like I said, I made her the emerald one and she doesn't wear it, so I stopped making her stuff. She's got a whole basket of amethyst sitting on her dresser because she loves amethyst, but the little basket that I bought to put the emeralds in, or the amethyst in, is full, and I ain't buying her anymore for her. So That's the way that goes. Now see, I still do not know what I did wrong with the first one, because all the rest of these are just automatically showing up to where they go with each other. I don't even know how I made the first one that made it so different. For those keeping track, I'm using 7 inches of wire for the two, get up there, for the 2 bead ones. And we're getting ready to go to the 1 bead ones, and I already know that 3 inches of wire take care of those. My wife, somebody, I don't remember, oh, it was a TV show we were watching. They were eating corn dog, or not corn dogs, but chili dogs. She's like, ooh, we haven't had chili dogs in a long time. I'm like, well, I can't eat them with you because I got a show. But if you want to make yourself some, go ahead. She's like, I'll make myself some and I'll make you some, and you can just heat it up when you're done. I'm like, works for me. So she went and bought all the stuff she needed to make chili dogs. So I got a good meal waiting for me when we're done here. Oh, that's not a good thing. All right, so I'm gonna let that weird one just stay in there. No, I'm not. All the rest of them look right. I'm gonna make another one. It's not a sore subject, Zelina. It doesn't. That was not what I wanted to do. Here we go. Yeah, that needs to be stay plugged in. Down to 32%. It's not a sore subject. It doesn't like hurt my feelings or anything that she doesn't wear it. Like I said, she doesn't wear any jewelry. Now, if she wore jewelry all the time and didn't wear mine, then I'd be kind of hurt. But it's like giving a car to somebody that don't drive. How can you get mad if they don't use your gift, if they didn't never use that type of gift before? My wife is a down-to-earth country girl. She can get all dressed up and snazzy and made up and everything and do her hair. She knows how to do all of it. But those aren't as pretty. Give me these two. But most of the time she brushes her hair and puts clothes on and goes about her merry way. Very seldom puts makeup on or anything. She is my low maintenance girl. I didn't know how low maintenance until after I married her, but she doesn't like spending money, which sometimes causes some problems. She's more frugal than I am. As I say, as far as makeup goes, I prefer the natural look on 99% of the women that I know. And when I was working with the teenagers, I'm like, why are you putting that stuff? All you're doing is messing up your skin. Why in the world are you 13 years old and want to put that stuff on your face? You're way prettier without it. And my wife gets annoyed that I won't kiss her if she's wearing lipstick. Told her if I wanted to kiss a plastic tube, I would have married a plastic tube. Yep, I'm pretty frugal, but when I want something, I'll go out and buy it. She searches, when we need something, she searches 15 ways to Sunday, except here lately. For some weird reason, she's spending an awful lot of money on my grandchildren. See there? I did it correctly that way. How in the world did I mess up the first one that I did? Oops, I'm way off the camera. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not used to such a long stretch of time. That's one of the reasons why my videos are only like 15 minutes long. First of all, because I know people will watch them better because they're only 15 minutes long. But also because I don't like the constraints of being stuck behind this camera. Hi, Sharon. How are you? Patricia, I know. The only thing I complained to her about with my grandchildren was that she had spent more on... She hadn't told me how much she had spent on 3 of the grandchildren. And I got upset at her. Oops, that went flying. And she's like, well, we can spend what we want. And I'm like, or she thought I was yelling at her because she had spent the money. I told her, I don't care how much you spend. That's not my argument. My argument is if you spend $50 on this one, you need to spend $50 on all of them. That's only fair. We have no favoritism. But I didn't know how much to stuff in the envelope if you don't tell me how much you're spending on other stuff. She thought I was yelling because she was spending the money. I told her I don't care how much you spend. It just needs to be fair all across the board. There we go. I fixed it. Okay, I gotta stretch my back for a minute. I've already been on here over an hour. Fair, fair, and equal, yeah. Yeah, most 9-year-olds are active. They're old enough to do stuff on their own. And you can generally trust them to do it fairly safely. Stretchy, stretchy, stretchy. Oh, that's much better. Sometimes you just gotta move. That's another thing with this camera, where it is and how it is. I kind of have to be bent over. I have no choice in the matter. I am not going to use these 3 because they're kind of plain next to the others. See, those are just prettier. I might use them at the very tip top of the chain, but not in the middle. So, let's see. I know I definitely need to make at least one more. There's no way that's anywhere near 20 inches, but we need to start putting this thing together. Well, yeah, you don't let them go to places where there's aggressive dogs. I don't care if they're pit bulls or not. Pit bulls don't bother me. Chihuahuas, on the other hand, are scary little demons. Except for this one. I knew this one. Buddy of mine had him. He was blind from birth. He was a cool little dog. We did him so wrong. We didn't mean to do him wrong, but we did him wrong. Because we cleaned out. We were cleaning. We had to clean out a bedroom so we could fix the floor. Well, Sharon, in my humble opinion, and in my household, if the kid don't listen to me, the kid gets a whack on the butt. But I know that that's... Oh, I did that wrong. Forgot what I was doing. But yeah, we had to fix the floor in this guy's bedroom. And this bedroom was halfway down the hallway. And so we cleaned out that area and we put the dresser out across the hallway. And of course, the poor little dog couldn't see. And he went running down the hallway. And we're all in the room working on the floor. And all of a sudden we hear little feet. And then... because it ran right into the dresser head first, going as fast as his little legs could carry him. It was... No, there's nothing wrong with discipline. But you know, they talk about gentle parenting. Oh, we should do gentle parenting. Yeah, you can't gentle parent kids that are wild. And my cute little granddaughter, cute as can be, 2 years old. And that girl is wild. I call her my feral grandchild. My son thought it was an insult. You calling my child feral? I'm like, yes, I am, because she is, and it's a good thing. She needs to learn a few more manners, like, you know, not sticking her face in the bowl to eat her food. But at 2, that's cute. At 14, that's not going to go. I said, but I'd prefer she stayed feral. She'd be able to take care of herself a lot better. Oops. But sometimes my opinions with kid rearing get some people bent out of shape. Yes, feral as in F-E-R-E-L. Wild and energetic is correct. Like a feral cat. Kittens that get tucked away and don't have any human contact when they're little, and then they come out of their little burrow and you try to catch them. My grandpa had cats that like to go under the chicken coop and have their kittens under the floor of the chicken coop and have their kittens, and we couldn't get to them. We could hear them in there, but we couldn't get to them to play with them or anything. And then they'd come out at, you know, 3, 4, or 5 months old with all their claws intact and wanted nothing to do with some wild, crazy boys that were trying to grab them and pet them. We got scratched up a lot. Well, Sharon, that depends. Was Jody telling Jackson to grab the case that the handgun was in? Or the actual handgun itself? And then another question is it loaded? Another question is, has Jackson been taught how to shoot? There's a 9-year-old, at 9 years old, I'd bring my dad his guns, but I also knew how they worked, knew what they were for, and knew not to mess with them too much because Dad would kill me. So, I mean, it all depends on how he's raised and what the situation is. I have no problem with kids around guns. Klein, I think I needed 500 to go live, but that could be wrong. And actually, I think it's spelled Feral. Now the wire, the size wire I'm using is 20 gauge. And it is dead soft wire, but the silver is a little harder than than just the copper or the antique, like the antique brass and antique bronze. It's a little stiffer. And I'm using beadsmith wire elements from Hobby Lobby is where I buy this wire, because Parawire messed me up. So I can't, when I need wire, I need wire. I can't be playing around with them saying that my address can't be delivered to when they delivered my last group to it. So, and then when I send, oops, I need other wires. Then when I send or call them and leave a voicemail and I don't hear back from them in 2 weeks, it's time to find someplace else to buy my wire. Oh, is it your favorite wire, Trish? Good. As I say, I've used it. I bought it in a pinch. I was completely out of wire and I needed wire, and I was in Hobby Lobby and I'm like, hey, look, wire. And I got it and I'm like, well, this is pretty good. But then, like I said, when I needed, oops, ooh, this might be fun. When I needed wire this time and Parawire messed me up, then I just went to Hobby Lobby and bought all my wire there. Okay. I think we're going to do it this way. There's no way I'm going to be able to. It probably wouldn't look right anyway. Not with these little links. Oops, sorry. Again. I picked up 2 on, well, it was yesterday, but they're the ones I'm going to give to my dad. I've got, let's see, the only thing I have to buy for him to start his own little business is some price tags. I think I've gotten him everything else. I've got him the tools he needs. I've got stones that some of you so graciously gave me for free. I'm going to give them to him because he is sitting and staring out a window and can't really do anything right now. Ow. Because he's been diagnosed with COPD, and he was a very active man up to 3 years ago. 5 years ago, when I went down to visit him, he was tearing down a house by himself and salvaging and selling the pieces and parts that he took out. So that gives you an idea of how active he was just 5 years ago. And now if he goes outside and tries to do anything at all, physically, he starts having trouble breathing. So he's just sitting in his little 2-bedroom RV that he's been living in for years and stares out the window and has nothing to do. So I'm going to teach him wire wrapping when I go down there in June. And then he's going to have something to do. And there's a place, you can see the place. It takes you a half a mile or quarter of a mile, probably half a mile to drive to it, because of it's the mountains of Kentucky, but he can see it from his porch, a place where he can park his car and put his stuff out on the hood or tailgate if a truck or whatever, and he can sell it right there on a wide spot on the road. Down in Kentucky, that's their craft fairs, yard sales. You go find a wide spot in the road, you park your car, and you put all your stuff out, and people stop and buy it. Now, let's see. Yes, that is the correct way to spell applied. Oh, sorry, Sharon. Wow, what, Trish? I said I haven't been watching the chat, so I don't know what you're saying wow about. Oh, you have COPD too, Patricia? I don't know. This is the first time I tried to use it. And I don't even know why I chose it, to tell you the truth. As I was thinking about making this necklace, I wasn't thinking about doing it on live. I was thinking about making a necklace. But I was like, ooh, those chain links would be pretty cool to stick in there. And like I said, I didn't have a particular reason for it. You know what I'm saying? But it does seem to lay a little better, having them oblong instead of round. Speaking of chain, I'm not working with any turquoise. I can't afford to buy turquoise. Speaking of chain, I need to buy more chain. And I like this size, but I have no idea how to measure this to find a size. So I don't know what to buy. And I don't want to buy a large spool of wire that gets here and I open it and I'm like, that's not what I wanted. So is there some place I can go that sells? Hobby Lobby's got some wire, but none that I like. And Joann's has no chain at all that I could find. I wasn't actually looking for it when I was in there. I was looking at tools, but so maybe Joann's has it, but I've got a Michael's, but it's like over an hour away. If Michael's has bulk chain, but I don't know how to tell what size that is. I don't know how they measure them. My Walmart doesn't have chain. My Walmart has practically nothing as far as, I mean, they've got head pins and earring wires, but I wouldn't put those earring wires into anybody's ear. And Fire Mountain catalog has a chain display chart. I don't have a Fire Mountain catalog. Can I go on their website and ask them for one? KTV Jewel School. Okay. Okay, as Enchantress, do I do that by going to their website and asking for it? Because yeah, this is about, I mean, this is good, a good size. See it a little closer here. It's a good size to use for extension wire or bracelet wire or, okay, Enchantress, thanks. Or like I'm using now, I'm using the links for jump rings. And, you know, so I mean, it's a good sturdy chain and it's a good size and it can be used for anything. So I just need to buy some in silver and gold because I mean, I've got about 8 feet of this left, but I don't know where I got it. I'm not sure where it came from, but I really like it. Like I said, it's good for everything. You can make necklace with it, bracelet with it, jump rings with it, extending chain with it. So this is a good all-purpose chain. But I don't know what size it is, and I don't know how to measure chain to find out what size it is. And I don't want to spend $25 on a spool of chain from Amazon or Fire Mountain Gems or whatever, and then find out that that wasn't what I was looking for. Now I've got all this chain I got to use that I didn't want. Now I've got enough stuff that I don't use that I didn't want or that I thought I wanted but don't use. All right. It's taking a lot longer than I thought it would, but that's what happens when you have to stop and talk. I'm just reaching over here and pulling the links off so I can hook on to the next one. But yeah, I like this. I like it. Yeah, like I said, Trish, I'd never done this before with this chain, using it for jump rings. I keep wanting to say O-rings. But yeah, I'm liking it. And I think it looks better than using the round. It just looks cleaner, I think. I don't know. What do you guys think? Get it a little closer so you can get an idea. I keep wanting to move the camera or move the picture by moving the camera, and the camera don't drag, does it? But yeah, I kind of like how that looks. Well, I've seen sizes like, 4mm by 2mm, but I don't know if that's the outside or the inside, or I mean, is it that the length and the width? I don't know. Yeah, I do too, Trish. Like I said, I don't know why. I don't have any idea why I thought of doing it this way. But I am liking it. But see, this is time consuming. I've already, I mean, we're an hour and 30 minutes into this. By now, I'd be going crazy. I could probably have had it done by now, but that's an hour. Usually in an hour, I can make 4 or 5 pieces. Hi, Gwen. How are you? But every now and then, I think you should have something, I should have something a little different and a little more expensive. Now, Trish should probably put $300 on a necklace like this and sell it tomorrow. But I don't have those kind of guts. I don't have the courage to price something that I made that kind of money. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Pline. Oh, I enjoy your guys' company too. And I like that. I mean, I don't mind doing tutorials. And I don't mind, like sitting, sometimes I'll sit on my lives and I'll teach them how, kind of do tutorial type things. Got my arm in there. And I don't know why I'm leaning over doing this. I think because I'm moving the chain out of the way and I'm just going to where the chain is. But yeah, just sitting and chatting like this, I enjoy that. Enjoy hearing from you guys. There we go. That's starting to look like something, isn't it? Now the question is, now I know that each one of these single beads is about 3/4 of an inch long. That one's going to be upside down. Here we go. So each one of these is about 3/4 of an inch long for one bead. But if you add in the jump ring, it takes it up to almost 1 inch. Cool. That makes life easy. And what we've got now is, oops, probably ought to start from the right direction. What we've got now is 7 inches. If I want to be 18, that's 10. So I got to make 10 more of these beads at least. Do 10 more of the beads and then 2 inches. Okay. Oh, for this necklace, I will probably put 50 on it and see what happens. Cool, Sharon. A centering ruler. What? The zeros in the middle? Like on a bead board? Like that, where the zero's in the middle and it goes out? You were thinking 75? Okay. So I'm going to need 10 more beads. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So I've got, somebody do some calculating for me. It'll be 11 cents. It'll be $2.20 in beads. I've probably got, I got $1 something and $1.20. So that's $3.40 just in the stones. And we'll say, at least another $5 in wire. So I've probably got, oh, bye, Patricia. Thank you. Thanks for coming. So I'm probably going to have $11 in costs, not counting my time. So yeah. I may try 75. I don't know. I may try 50, and if it sells, then I may make another one and make it 75. I am very, I don't know. Okay, Night Klein. Thanks for coming. I think my butt is going numb. I will probably finish this up on my own. But I'm going to lean back here. As I say, that's the part that gets me, is the leaning forward. Pick out some of my prettier beads. What have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10. So that should cover it. And my fingers are starting to hurt with all the rings that I made earlier today. As I say, I also thought about, okay, we've got this design going. I mean, I could put chain on each side and just go chain the rest of the way, but I thought it'd look better if it went beads all the way. I see a lot of people doing beads all the way up to the back of the neck. So I didn't know which would be better, but I think I'm going to try it with the beads all the way. I mean, now that I've got to this point, doing single beads is easy. I was doing the triple and the 2. I do like the way it turned out. Looks wise. With the 3, 2, 1, I like that. So I'm glad I chose to do that little design. But now that we're down to 1 bead each, I mean, another 20 minutes and I'll have the beads done. Yeah, Angela, I could do that. But a lot of my customers don't talk a lot. They come in, they walk around, they grab stuff. They don't really, I mean, I say, hi, how you doing? But I am not an aggressive salesperson. So they might look at the necklace and immediately see the $75 and just walk away and never even express an interest in it. I've gone down on my stuff. I do that, especially if it's a kid, teenager. I know they don't have a lot of money. So if they're really looking at something, I had a girl that was looking at an amethyst moon that I had priced at 30, and she looked at it and then she walked around looking at other stuff, and she came back and looked at it again and walked around and looked at other stuff and came back and looked at it again. And the third time I asked her, you seem interested in that? She's like, yeah, I love it. I'm like, well, is it, what's stopping you from buying it? And she's like, I don't think I have that much money. I'm like, well, I'll tell you what, if you've got $20, I'll sell it to you. And she pulled a wad of cash out of her pocket and handed me the whole wad of cash. I'm like, sweetie, you can't do that. You got $60 here. I said, and you just gave it to me to count. I'm like, if I wanted to, I could have taken 40 or 50 and given you back 10, and you wouldn't have known any different, because you don't know how much money you've got. You should always know how much cash you have on your hand, in hand. I sold it to her for 20, even though she had 60, and she was perfectly happy. But sometimes I think people will look at a price and not even show any interest in it as soon as they see the price. But my thing is it has nothing to do with, I mean, if it doesn't sell this year, then yeah, I'll mark it down to 50 and try to sell it again next year. But my thing is, as I said, by the time I'm done, I'll have like $12 and my, an hour and a half. I'll call it an hour and a half. It's an hour and 45 on the show, but if I was doing it by myself, I'd have been done a lot faster. So we'll call it an hour and a half. So that's another $30. So yeah, $50 is pretty much the minimum to get my money back. But like, some of this other stuff that I make, it takes me 15 minutes to make it, and it costs me $2.50, $3.50, and it took me 15 minutes to make it. I got like $10 in this thing, and I'm trying to sell it for 30 or 50 or 60. The highest price thing I've ever sold was $75, $85. And that was a piece of malachite that I had wrapped. Took almost a year before somebody bought it, but that was my highest. That's the highest I've ever priced anything, was $85. And Angela, you're right. This is one of the higher end pieces that I've made. If it was a stone, you'd do 75. Oh, you mean if it was not man-made? Let's see. Yeah, I'm not. Like I said, I don't have the outlay to do silver. And to tell you the truth, I don't have the customers to sell high items to in most cases. I mean, even if I go into the city, our city is nowhere. I don't go to Chicago, okay? I don't go to Chicago unless I absolutely have to. I don't go to Peoria unless I absolutely have to. When I say I'm going to town, I'm going to uh, LaSalle or Peru, and they've got like 30,000 people in the whole thing. This is all farm country out here. Farm country, blue collar worker, small business owners. You know, if I made this piece with silver, I mean, we'd probably be looking at the $300 I was talking about earlier. I don't have anybody on it. I don't know of any venue that I go to that would be willing to spend $300 on a piece of jewelry unless they were there specifically looking for jewelry. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I have the customer base to do the super high end stuff. Okay, Sharon, how many rings do you make at one time? What do you mean at one time? I only make one ring at a time. It's kind of hard to do more than one. You got it right there in your hand. But anyway, like today I made, well, how many were there? 7. I made 7 today. Hi, Debbie. How are you? Are you laughing at my one at a time, Trish? I don't mean to make fun of you, Sharon. It was just funny the way you put it. I think I made I think there were 7 that I made earlier today. And if I hadn't had to do the live show, I'd have probably done, I think I need to do 4 or 5 more. Oh, yeah. See, that's like when Matt goes, yeah, I wrapped this and, I'm selling it for $7. You can wrap it and sell it for 50. No, I can't. I can maybe sell it for 25. I'm good, Debbie. My back's starting to hurt. Yeah, I've had teenagers, um, Trish, and a lot of the older ladies. The reason I need to make 5 more rings for my show is because I'm doing an experiment. Looks like 3. I need to make 3 more. Is because normally, you go for the average, normal, average ring size. So I have a lot of 6, 7s, and 8s. But I have a lot of women that have said that they have fat fingers, is how they put it. I didn't say that, they did. And they need 10s and 11s or 9s. And since I have played around and I have discovered that I can come down a whole ring size on these rings, especially the bigger ones. And if I want to really play around, I have taken a 12 down to a 10. So I am making some 12s and some 11s and some 10s. So that the quote unquote, not me saying it, them saying it, fat fingered people have choices. And we'll see how many of them, it's an experiment. Sounds like there's, something that there's a market for it. So I'm going to throw some out there and see what happens. And the great thing with my rings is, most of the time I'll sell 2 or 3. I think I sold at the one that I'm going to this February, last February, I think I sold like 8 rings. And one ring I thought that I would never sell, sold. So I was happy with that. That was one of the first rings I made, but it was monstrous. Nope, I already put those other one away. But I made one. Here, we'll just look at this one. I made a ring like this, but I did a swirl out here, and a swirl here, and a swirl here, and a swirl here. And by the time I was done, this ring was probably as big around as a 50-cent piece. I mean, it was big. Even on my finger, it looked big. And I'm like, man, nobody's ever going to want to buy that. But I stuck it in there. And it sat there for 1.5 years, but somebody bought it. You never know what they're going to buy. Thank you, Debbie. Well, like I said, it seemed like there was a market for it. And if people are saying that none of my rings will fit them because their fingers are too big, then I'll make bigger rings. That's like my earrings. I sell very few earrings. Therefore, I don't make earrings very often. I'd like to make 2 more earrings, 2 more pair, 3, 2. I want to make 2 more pair of earrings, one really long and one medium long because all of mine are fairly short. But I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22. I've got 25 pair of earrings right now, and I want to make 2 more for my next show. But that's all the earrings I'm gonna make. And the only time I'll sit down and make earrings is if it looks like there's enough for at least 3 pair. I'll sit down and make earrings because I don't sell very many of them. As a matter of fact, my Labor Day show, I made $285 in sales. And I sold not 1 pair of earrings. Earrings just are not a thing around here, apparently. So I very seldom make earrings. I've got earring. I could sit and make 150 pair of earrings right now. But they don't sell, so I don't make. If somebody asks for a specific kind of earring, I could sit down and make it if my customers were asking for it. So they ask for bigger rings, I'll make some bigger rings. We'll see if they'll buy them. But my pendants are always my biggest seller. They love the pendants. And it's good because the pendants are actually my favorite thing to make. So that works out well. Oh, Angela, I only use Sterling 925 silver or stainless steel is the only kind of earrings I'll use, earring hooks I'll use. I knew that right from the very beginning because my daughter was sensitive and one of her friends was sensitive too. So the very first thing I did was when I went to buy earring pairs was to make sure they were stainless steel. And then the next batch that I bought when I made some money were 925 silver. I will spend the extra money on earring hooks that won't hurt somebody. I'll say my biggest thing that I hear is the people at the craft shows like, oh, I like these, but I have so many earrings. They don't want any more earrings. And of course, this one is this show that I'm going to on the 24th is a Another one of those metaphysical ones. So all of my earrings, except for, nope, no, except for one. I've got one pair of ceramic earrings, and all of the rest of them are a crystal or a stone. Your earrings, Trish, are amazing. I couldn't even think of making up those designs. That spiral thing you did, that thing was amazing. Okay, guys, we've been at this almost 2 hours. Do you have a notebook beside your bed? You scribble out your design real fast before you go back to sleep? But yeah, we've been at this for an hour and 57 minutes. I'm out of coffee, and I'm really thinking about those chili dogs. So I'm going to call it a night. Thank you all for spending this time with me. I know you've got other things to do. Thanks, D-Day. Oh, Trish. Heck with it. I'll make it now. You're welcome, Angela. Like I said, this has been poking around in my head. Since I do a lot of driving, I have a lot of, and I build things in my head. And I got this idea, and I sort of put it together in my head, and then I'm like, I haven't done a live in a while, and it's really need to do one. And I'm like, well, I can make this necklace, or well, part of it, on a live. Well, thank you, Trish. You are too. Good night, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see most of you probably tomorrow. I'm having the same problem that don't forget to hit the like button. Now, there's 11 people here. I think that means 11. The numbers are on top of each other. There's a 1, and then under it is a 1. They're not side by side, so I don't know if there's 11 likes on there or not. You want to see the finished product? Whoa, what happened? It just said reconnecting. Maybe my earpiece? I don't know. You want to see the finished product? Okay. Well, I will put it on. When I'm done with it, I'll definitely be putting it on Facebook, and I'll put it on Matt's page. And that'll probably be the best I can do. But now I'm having the same problem Matt had. All I had to do was have part 2. I can do that, I guess. But I ain't finishing it tonight. I'll probably finish it tomorrow. Maybe I'll have a quick live tomorrow to show the finished product before the other person that we like to watch comes on. But yeah, now I'm like Matt was last night. Where the heck is the button to end this? I don't know if it's the X or not. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good one. Oh, yep, that's it.